Welcome to the Explainer, folks. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining us today because honestly, we are looking at a topic that pushes the absolute boundaries of modern science. And the craziest part? It's happening right now in labs and, as you'll see, even in orbit as we speak. Today, we're demystifying the bioprinting revolution. We're going to see exactly how scientists are engineering real living human organs to solve our critical global transplant shortage. Okay, let's jump right in with a massive what if. What if you could print a replacement heart from your own cells? Now, this isn't just a fun sci-fi thought experiment. It establishes the very real life or death stakes of where we're at right now. There is a massive gap between the number of transplant organs needed and the donors available. People with severe heart disease or failing organs are waiting for a breakthrough, right? Well, bioprinting aims to be exactly that. So let's break down what we're actually talking about here. Bioprinting relies on living cells, proteins, and nutrients as raw materials to produce human tissues and organs. Unlike traditional 3D printing, the kind that melts plastics or metals to build rigid objects, bioprinting uses biological ink. We're drawing a very hard line here. We're separating traditional manufacturing from the mind-blowing reality of constructing living, breathing tissue, literally layer by cellular layer. And the human impact of getting this right, it's absolutely staggering. Just to put this into perspective, think about this number. 1.1 million. That's the number of new head and neck cancer cases diagnosed globally every single year. Many of these folks face severe tissue damage and debilitating dry mouth from radiation therapy, basically because their salivatory glands get completely destroyed. And then, add to that the 30 million people worldwide suffering from degenerative retinal diseases. We're talking about vast populations of people who desperately need engineered replacement tissues to get their quality of life back. All right, moving to section 1, printing organs in space. We're talking about escaping Earth's gravity. So, as we try to build these delicate tissues, we run into a major engineering hurdle. And the villain of our story here is, well, Earth's gravity. When we try to build a house of cells down here on Earth, the tissue basically just collapses under its own weight, unless we use artificial scaffolding, like an animal-derived gel called matrigel. The problem is that scaffolding limits natural growth and introduces biological complications. But take that same process up to the near weightlessness of microgravity in space, those tissues grow freely in 3 dimensions without any artificial support. The cells just naturally assemble. And guys, this is not theoretical at all. Aboard the International Space Station, the Biofabrication Facility, or BFF, is hosting some unbelievable projects. You've got the BFF Cardiac Project working toward patches for damaged hearts. They're working with a project called Lambda Vision to manufacture 200-layer artificial retinas. They even have a portable handheld device called Bioprint First Aid to print skin patches right from a patient's own cells. But perhaps the most incredible part? The BFF Meniscus Project actually successfully bioprinted a human knee meniscus in orbit. They printed a human knee part in space, completely free from the crushing weight of gravity. No way, right? Which brings us to section 2, magnetic levitation on Earth. Because how do we beat gravity when we're down here? So as amazing as the space station is, we obviously can't manufacture every single organ in orbit, right? So scientists had to get creative. They developed a platform called magnetic 3D bioassembly. Step 1, they magnetize human cells by attaching tiny 50 nanometer gold and iron oxide nanoparticles to them. Step 2, they detach those cells and suspend them in a liquid culture. And then, step 3, this is where it gets wild. They use actual magnetic drives to levitate the cells. This magnetic force pushes the cells together at the air-liquid interface, forcing them to aggregate and build their own tissue matrix naturally. They completely bypass the need for that toxic scaffolding because they are literally levitating mini organs, like salivary glands, right here on Earth. Moving on to section 3, healing with extracellular vesicles. Hidden right inside these levitating mini organs is a fascinating secondary breakthrough. We're talking about extracellular vesicles, or EVs. Think of these as tiny cargo ships released by cells. They contain proteins and RNA, acting as the cell's secretome to communicate and promote healing. So the crucial point here is that researchers realized these levitating bioassembled cell clusters produce highly potent EVs. Instead of having to transplant an entirely new organ, scientists found that just applying the EVs extracted from these engineered salivary glands can promote healing and repair radiation-damaged tissue in patients. It's a total game changer, all without the crazy complexities of a whole cell transplant. Okay, section 4, the vasculature problem. Basically, how do we engineer the plumbing? So we've got uninhibited cell growth in space, and we have potent EVs from magnets. But as we aim for full-sized functional organs, a dense cellular matrix simply cannot survive without complex plumbing. Think about it. If we grow a solid block of heart tissue, the cells right in the center are just going to undergo necrosis. They'll die. Without an intricate, microscopic network of blood vessels to deliver oxygen and nutrients. A house of cells fundamentally requires this delivery system to stay viable. And that brings us to an absolute jaw-dropper of an algorithmic breakthrough. Generating the digital 3D designs for these organ-scale blood vessel networks used to be a massive computing bottleneck. It took forever. But researchers have developed a new model-guided design pipeline that accelerates the generation of synthetic vascular trees by 230-fold. What used to take massive amounts of processing time can now be mapped out and generated on a computer in mere minutes. Because of this lightning-fast algorithmic design, scientists are now actually 3D printing and perfusing highly complex tissue structures. They've successfully pumped fluid through a bioreactor, a ring-like annulus, an incredibly complex biventricular heart model, and even a gyrus, which mimics brain tissue folds. We finally have the tools to build the vital networks necessary to keep a manufactured organ alive and functioning. And finally, Section 5, the future of transplants, how we are rewriting medicine. So we are now standing at the intersection of three just unbelievable engineering marvels, which leads us to a pretty provocative question. With space, magnets, and algorithms in our toolkit, what are we going to print next? We started this explainer by looking at the sheer desperation of the transplant waiting list, but just look at how far we've come. We've escaped Earth's gravity to print freely on the ISS. We've used magnetic nanoparticles to levitate and naturally assemble tissues right here at home. And we've utilized these lightning-fast algorithms to solve the ultimate plumbing problem, giving life-sustaining fluid flow to solid tissues. The bioprinting revolution is actively rewriting the future of medicine, and it is thrilling to watch. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll see you next time.